Hello, hello, hello. This is MustardKetchupMayo 1000. We're back for another installment of UFC fight picks and predictions, and today we're going to be doing it on UFC 326 for the BMF belt between Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira II. My GOAT is in the main event again. But first, we have to go over last week's picks and predictions. This was over UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Kavanaugh, Mexico City. Did good, 10 out of 13. Let's go over it real quick. So, first fight was Damian Pinas versus Wes Schultz. This one was kind of obvious. Nothing much to say about this one. Besides, Wes Schultz should have never been signed, like I said. Francis Marshall versus Eric Silva by submission. Also straightforward. Poor Eric Silva. Regina Tyrene versus Ernesta Karakaiti. I'm glad I got Regina right by decision. Next fight was Javier Reyes versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. This one was also pretty obvious. Kind of, not really. People are saying Javier Reyes is bad, and I can definitely understand that, but he's not terrible. Let's just say that. He's not terrible, but he's good. Next fight, Kristen Quinones versus Chris Moutinho. Now this guy is terrible. Chris Moutinho, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? No, I have nothing else to say. Eileen Perez versus Macy Chison. Eileen Perez straight up always wins. I think she might even be a bantamweight. I think she could go as far as to maybe win the belt. Who knows? I think she could. Next fight, Ryan Gondra versus Jose Medina. Straightforward as well. Kind of surprised Medina got knocked out. Santiago Luna versus Angel Pacheco. Angel Pacheco is a dog. That's all I gotta say about that one. Imanol Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. Imanol is a dog as well. Shout out Imanol. Edgar Shires versus Felipe Boons. Shout out Edgar Shires. I don't think he goes far. I feel like everybody kind of knows that, but I don't think he goes far. Maybe ranked, like top 15, maybe. That's about it. Next one, King Green versus Daniel Zellhuber. No words for this one, man. No words. Daniel Zellhuber is so bad, dude. Oh my god, this dude is terrible. Holy shit. You would think a guy who went neck and neck against Esteban Ribovic, it would not be struggling against King Green, let alone Michael Johnson. But what is going on, dude? Cut him. I don't want to see him ever fight again. This guy sucks. And it's sad to say because I was really high on him originally, but oh my god, he's ass. Holy shit, I have nothing else to say. David Martinez versus Marlon Chito Vera. David Martinez won by decision. Kind of not surprised by that, but I'm also surprised because the Cheeto script always happens. He loses first round, second round looks like it could be a toss-up maybe, and then he wins the third round very decisively. Like this dude needs to like lock in, man. And then last fight, Loner Kavanaugh versus Brandon Moreno. On Loner won. Kind of sad to see Brandon lose, but you know, fresh blood. And the what's the word? Fresh blood into the rankings, into the top of the rankings. But today is UFC 326. Holloway versus Olivera II. Predictions. Really excited for this card. It's not okay. It could be worse. It's a decent card, but it could be worse. I've seen a lot worse. But let's start off with the first fight of the night, which is gonna be Luke Fernandez versus Rodolfo Balatro, maybe. Rodolfo Balato. Luke Fernandez KO round 1. I think is gonna be the definitive answer for this one, because Balatro, as you can see, can get KO'd by Paul Craig, even if it was an accidental upkick. Um, I think he kind of had like a fluke run coming into the UFC because I mean it was Io Pretoria. Congratulations. Jimmy going to like draw with Jimmy Crute is kind of crazy, but that says more about Jimmy Crute than it does about Bellato. Paul Craig, Paul Craig. And then losing to a decision by Navajo Sterling. I don't know. I think Luke Fernandez looks a lot more scarier, and a lot of the Cage Fury guys actually look really good coming into the UFC. All the Cage Fury and the Fury guys, they all look really crazy. Um, Cage Fury and Fury FC guys look really good. Excuse me. So I'm taking him by KO round one. This dude looks scary. He beat the shit out of Rafael Pergin. What the? No, it's Pergentino. I remember seeing that fight, and I was like, I already knew Luke Fernandez was gonna win that one, just because like how high people were on him to begin with, and I was on him as well. Pause. High on him as well. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of high hopes on it on him. This is kind of similar, but Bellato is a big step up in my opinion compared to Pergentino, and like to be fair, most of his 5 other fights besides the Dana White Contender Series fight. So we could see a possible upset. I don't think so because Bellato just not good, but we'll see. Still taking him by KO round one. Hopefully it's a KO round one. Anyways, next fight. Gaston Bolaños versus Jaeyoung Young Lee. Um, taking Lee by decision. I noticed that he's going. Gaston Bolaños is going up to featherweight, which is kind of crazy because he kind of looked like perfect at bantamweight. Maybe he was cutting too much weight. I can't really see him as a featherweight in my opinion. And knowing that, I think Jung Young is gonna like piece him up. Maybe not KO him. Actually, definitely not KO him, but he's definitely gonna like put the beats on him, one way or another. I would say decision. I would not be surprised if there was a KO, in my opinion. Ilia Taporia, good luck. Peruvian Ilia Taporia, good luck. Next fight, Rafael Tobias versus Dr. Norgazay. Taking Tobias submission round 2. I mean, it's kind of obvious just going off of like his 2 losses, and then if you look at Tobias's like wins so far, like he's just a finisher. His submission on Yair de Oliveira was crazy, like because he stumbled him and then just got him in a submission. Kind of crazy. I did not expect that from him. I believe, if I go back to my video, I don't 100% remember. I was on him to win. Like I was pretty high on him to win. I think by KO, but I don't think KO is really gonna help him in this situation. I think submission would probably be his best bet. Probably like pepper at Nergoze for the first round. Definitely like stun him. Definitely hurt him a lot, and then coming into the second round, definitely just go for a submission. I would maybe possibly set third round if Nergoze actually like puts up a fight. But knowing how this guy, this monster goes, I don't think it's gonna go far. At most round 2. But yeah, that's what I have for that one. Next fight, Sumaderji versus Jesus Aguilar. My other GOAT is also on this card. Jesus Aguilar. I'm taking No, I'm not taking Sumaderji. What am I saying? I'm taking Jesus Aguilar submission in round 2, possibly round 3, but I'm taking him round 2 just to be a little bit more safer. Both guys are great. Don't get me wrong. Both guys are great. I think Jesus is a lot better, in my opinion. He's significantly better. When you look at the difference in styles, yes, Jesus is very, what's the word? Submission heavy? Wrestle heavy? But, like, knowing that his rear naked choke is crazy, and Sumaderji's loss to Matt Schnell kind of gives Jesus like the proper way of setting up this submission win for him if it were to happen. Same for Tim Elliott. is just getting him, hurting him at some point in the fight, and then immediately just going for the back. Or exactly, just going for the back actually. The groundwork has been laid for Jesus. All he needs to do is just execute it. And he can probably win this one, in my opinion. I think he does. I truly think he does. Yes, he's undersized. Yes, his reach is really small. Do I believe he wins, though? Yes. I definitely do think he wins. Sumaderji kind of just doesn't look good. Like, yes, I guess you can say the people he has fought is of a lot higher caliber compared to Jesus. Like, let's say, like, realistically, Jesus' best fight that he's had was against Rafael Estevam and I guess also Tetsuro Tairo, but that was really like early on in his UFC fight tenure. But Sumaderji, I guess similar idea, but his best win or I guess fight would have been against Charles Johnson, and he lost that one clearly because Charles Johnson's good, but then he lost to Matt Schnell, and I don't trust someone who's gonna lose to Matt Schnell. Respectfully, Matt Schnell is not good. Same for Mitch Raposo. Like, knowing that you got to go against split decision against Mitch, I'm not trusting you. I'm really not trusting you. Unless you prove to me something crazy, which he didn't against Kevin Borjas. Like, it didn't prove anything for me. I'm taking Jesus. A little like side note, we got Eagle, the Tibetan Eagle versus the Mexican Eagle, Aguilar, Mexican Eagle. So Eagle versus Eagle, there's definitely some esoteric symbolism in there somewhere. I don't know what it is. If someone could look into it, be my guest and let me know in the comments about it. Next fight, Cody Durden versus Najem Gar. I struggle with his first name. Najem Jargal to the Tumendemberol. His last name's so easy compared to his first name. Jesus. Najem Jargal. Najem Jargal. Najem Jargal. Najem Jargal. Nyam Jargal. Nyam Jargal Tumendemberol. Mouthful. I'm taking Tumendemberol by this submission. I kind of feel bad for Cody Durden, man. Cody Durden. God, man, I struggle with these names. I feel bad for Cody Durden. I can't lie. This dude, I remember seeing. I think it was against. No, I'm confusing him with one of the other guys. Regardless, I feel bad for him. I really do, but he's not that caliber. He's not there. He's not, and it's kind of sad to see, but he's not there. The UFC is only really keeping him around to build up prospects. Tumendemberol is just one of those prospects, and because of that, I'm taking him by decision. I mean submission, round one. Tumendemberol is kind of like one of those guys where he's like, if it's not the first round or second round, he's just gonna wait it out the decision and just point fight. At least that's what I've noticed. Maybe I'm just like blind, or maybe I'm just like, I don't know, being dumb. But that's what I've noticed, at least from his fighting style. Because of that, I'm taking him by decision. And look at the reach compared to Cody Durden. There's a reason why he's crazy good at submissions at his height. So yeah, submission round one, maybe round two. Next fight, Alberto Montes versus Ricky Torcios. Taking Alberto Montes, definitely by submission round two. I mean, I don't know what is there much to say. Montes is really good. Just like his only last KO against Iro Lukowski. Never heard of him. But it's been 4 years, so I'm sure he's and then he took a 2-year gap off, so I'm sure there's some time in there where he's actually locked in for a bit. That being said, though, I'm still taking him by submission round two. They need to push this guy, though. He's 31. He needs if he wants to go on a run, he needs to go on it now. Beat Ricky early, and then go on, and maybe they push you hard. But because this guy is decent, I think this guy is really good. Like comparing him and Javier Reyes, similar guys, similar contender series. Are they the same contender series class? They're both really good in their own respective ways. Montes is really good, in my opinion. Compared to Javier, really good. Because of that, I really hope they push him. Um, Regardless, enough glazing. I'm taking him submission round 2. Ricky is just not there, dude. This dude's not there. His wins are against people who are not in the UFC anymore, and they're still both by split decision. That says a lot about him. Uh, I will say at least Ricky's losses are against good contenders and fighters. Like obviously Sopaj is good, or at least seems to be good. Raul is good. Zahabi surprisingly is good. So it doesn't look good for him in this fight. That's all I'm gonna say. Taking Montez submission round 2. That's all I'm gonna say. Next fight. Dante Johnson versus Cody Brundage. There's nothing else in this world that's gonna happen in this fight besides Cody Brundage quitting. One way or another, he's gonna quit. We already know this. It was very obvious against Cam Roston that he didn't want to be there. It's very obvious against Eric McConico that he didn't want to be there. Very obvious. Like the list goes on. The only one that he genuinely looked like he wanted to be there for was Julian Marquez, and that was only because it was the last fight on his contract. And if he didn't win that, he was gonna get cut. I believe this is the last fight on his contract. Maybe he has like one more. Maybe he had like a 5-fight contract re-sign. I don't know. Taking Dante Johnson, KO round 2. I'm not gonna lie, I could definitely see Cody Brundage somehow, some way, get motivation to actually win. Do I expect it to happen though? No. But it's there. That idea is there. So taking Dante Johnson, KO round 2. Not much else to say. Next fight is Cody Garbrandt versus Long Zhao. I don't like this one at all. Realistically, I want to go Long Zhao, but I really want to believe in Cody Garbrandt. Because, like, I don't know, dude. This is a super, like, drop in competition. Super low. Like, Raoni Barcelos to Long Zhao is crazy. At least Raoni Barcelos is actually on a run. Figgy, similar idea. Kelleher went, yeah. Trevin Jones wins, yeah, I expected. Kai Kara France, that was at flyweight though, that's different. I don't know, I expect Garbrandt to win based on the fact that there's like a big difference between the two. Fighting, like, style wise and just in general, like, they're completely different fighters. And stylistically they kind of match up. Like, very slightly do they match up, but they do. But because of that, I'm taking Cody. Definitely not winning by KO, but I feel like he could definitely win by decision. Please, Cody, for the love of God, take this fight, win it, and retire, dude. You're not going far anymore. It's over, man. It's over. You could go either one, and you'd probably win somehow. This is definitely going to the split decision, one way or another. Split decision on who? I don't know. Don't ask me. Next fight. RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno the Hulk Ferreira. This is the start of the main card. First fight of the main card. So we're starting off with a good fight, which is exactly what you need to start off a card like this, dude. This main card is amazing, in my opinion. This is like probably like top 3, maybe top 3 best cards or main cards so far this year that I've seen. We'll see if it executes correctly. That's a whole different story. But so far, this main card looks pretty good. So hopefully no cancellations. Hopefully nothing bad happens. But yeah. Anyways, this is the first fight of the main card. I don't know why RoboCop is a favorite, respectfully, because like I don't know. I don't get the reasoning behind this one, because realistically, the guy lost the first time around on short notice to Bruno. This is, mind you, this is the second time they're fighting. So Bruno beat him the first time by KO. RoboCop has lost by KO to Jared Cannonier, which is not a bad loss. Okay, don't mind you. But like, it's just it. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like he's good. He's like top 15 good. I would say he's definitely like a maybe top 10 good. I would say he's top 10 good. He's definitely a gatekeeper, that's for sure. But I want to say that like Bruno's the ways Bruno's style has significantly changed since I want to say since the Abus fight. Like the style has completely changed. It's kind of crazy in my opinion how much it's changed. I don't know why. I really don't get why. Maybe it's just because he tires himself out too much when he's trying to stand and bang or just strike. Cause like ever since the Abus fight, dude, it's just been constant submission and grappling. And he did strike against Martin. He looked really good against Martin. Don't get me wrong. But like, dude, against Gregory, he was standing and banging, and he caught him. And he caught him. But it's short notice fights are really hard to like tell, like if they were good because they are on short notice and they don't have to cut as much or anything of that nature, or if it's more of a thing where it's like, oh, they did really good, but they got lucky, stuff like that. So I really want to take Bruno by submission, round 3, maybe decision, just because of how he's been changing his fight style, and on top of that, RoboCop, I have yet to see someone really try to like take him down. I think maybe the closest one was Jack Hermanson, but he didn't even try. And then Christian Leeward Duncan's probably the other fighter who probably would have tried, and he didn't try. I don't think they were really just like up against. I think if RoboCop took him down, if anything. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm taking Bruno on this one. Yeah, I'm taking Bruno on this one. There's not much else to say about this one. They both look good. There's not much else to say. They both look good. Yeah. Bruno by submission though. I can kind of see how it goes. They're both gonna RoboCop is very good at very plotty. And he kind of just tries to find that shot that he can get. But he's very plotty, and then Bruno is just kind of like swing for the fences, and that's why he tires himself out so bad. But like I said, like his style change of just going for like takedowns and submissions immediately does definitely conserve his energy a lot more. And I think if he goes for that the first 2 rounds and then tires out RoboCop, because RoboCop's his gas tank is probably just as bad as Bruno's. The only difference is that he doesn't actually try to wrestle. He just tries to strike. And because he has such a heavy hand and heavy fists or heavy swings and jabs and strikes, he gets tired. And that's why I think he's going to lose, just simply because of the fact that Bruno has a little bit more versatility. And it's been shown. That's all that matters. It's been shown. And it worked. And it's working for him. So, I mean, if it's working for him in multiple fights, he's going to continue doing that. And that's what I've noticed, at least. But yeah. Next fight. I have Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. Drew Dober by KO round 1. I'm going to change this to Michael Johnson KO round 1. This is okay. This one so the main card is really good just because of how hard it is to pick, in my opinion. Because a lot of these fights are really like toss-ups. There's only maybe like one fight maybe that's kind of like not really a toss-up, kind of. Regardless though, Michael Johnson. I'm okay. So my reasoning for Drew Dober at first, I wanted to take Drew Dober KO round 1 because realistically, that's just one of those fights. Or Drew Dober KOing Michael Johnson round 1 is just one of those. Let's just make sense. It just makes sense. Like if we go through Michael Johnson's career, he always loses against people he should have realistically beat. Diego Ferreira, he should have realistically beat. Jamie Malarkey, he should have realistically beat. He realistically should have beat. Sorry. Clay Guida, he should have beat. This was like when Clay was like 34. Or not 34, like 30, 38, maybe. Definitely not in his 40s, but he's definitely reaching there. And this dude, Michael Johnson, was struggling. I will say, I believe he was at no, this was a lightweight fight. Okay, yeah, even more reason. Thiago Moises, submission loss. Like, dude, Stevie Ray loss. Josh Emmett, understandable maybe just because like Josh Emmett's hard hitting, but also he was probably like drained. Michael Johnson was probably drained, so understandable because he went down for some reason. I don't know why he did, but he did. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just like fights you think he would realistically win, he ends up losing. Like Stevie Ray, he should have beat. Thiago Moises, maybe he should have beat. Clay Guida, he should have realistically beat. Jamie Malarkey, he should have beat. Diego Ferreira, he probably should have beat. Maybe not, because Diego Ferreira was on a run at that time. So I don't know. He wins, but he loses. And I want to take him. I want to take Michael Johnson, and I'm going forward, to take him to win by KO round 1. Maybe decision. I know it's a big leap, but I think it's either or. Just because Drew Dober, I think his time has officially come. Like, he lost to Manuel Torres. Manuel Torres is strong. He's good. Don't get me wrong. But he's getting KO'd. Doctor stoppage against John Silva, understandable. Lost to Moicano, understandable-ish. Like, his wins are just against, like, short notice fighters who are coming in just to fight. Like, dude, Kyle Prokolep, like, he only came in just to, like, short notice. And he should have, I think he realistically didn't even lose, if I remember correctly. I think it was a short notice. I mean, that was a doctor stop. I mean, what's the word? God damn it, what's the word? Early stoppage, that's the word. It was stopped way too early, 'cause I think he was still up. Beat Ricky Glenn. Okay, congratulations. Beat Bobby Green. Congratulations. Um, like, I don't know, man. If you were to tell me like, oh, Drew Dober, like KO'd Michael Johnson way back when, I would believe you immediately. I would believe you. But like, I don't know. It's not there. I don't see it. So, what can I say? What can I say, man? I'm taking him taking Michael Johnson. Absolutely. Like, no, the more I think about it, the more I think like, okay, Michael Johnson should win, just because of how good of the run he's on. Zell Huber, well, okay, there's a Zell Huber win. It's not looking too good in hindsight. But the Ottoman has Azatar KO looks good, decent-ish. Darius Flowers' decision win is actually pretty good. Um, I don't know, dude. I don't know. This one's just like mid off, you know. This one's just mid, like the mid off, literally mid off, mid off. But I'm taking Michael Johnson, man. I'm taking him. I'm sticking with that one too. It could be either or, to be honest. Like I said, this main card's kind of toss up for everybody. Next fight, Rob Font versus Raul Rosas Jr. I'm taking Raul Rosas Jr. by submission round 3. This is definitely one of those fights, man. This is the fight. This is one of the most. This is one of the fights, man, of all time. This is one of the fights of all time. I'm taking Raul just because I have seen how Corey Sandhagen has kind of ragdolled Rob Font. Yeah, I'm taking him just because of that. I think he's gotten better since that fight. Definitely, I will say that. But and he's also like that gatekeeper, man. He's not. I don't think he's the gatekeeper for the rankings anymore. But he was a gatekeeper at a point in time. But I feel like Raul was decent. I don't think he's that bad. This is. I will say this is a huge step up. A huge step up compared to like who he's fought. Terrence Mitchell. Okay. Ricky Torcios. Okay. Orochi Lang. Okay. Like what? Like what am I supposed to do with this? Vince Morales might have been his best win. And that says a lot because Vince Morales, not crazy win, but he is. Vince Morales is pretty good. He was pretty good before he lost. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just I think he wins. I think he wins. I think if Raul Rosas is smart and his coaching staff is smart, I think they will follow through with what Corey Sandhagen did, where he kind of just like ragdolled him and just laid and preyed on him. But to be fair, I will say at least Corey Sandhagen had a hand injury. Raul Rosas just doesn't know how to strike that well. I don't know, man. I'm taking yeah, I'm going with Raul. I don't think I'm a pig flip on this one. Uh yeah. Yeah, I'm taking Raul. There's not much else to say for this one. I will say he's kind of wide though. Minus 200, 2-1 favorite. I feel like it should be at least like 150, but oh well. Caio Borralho versus Rainer de Ritter is the next fight. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. Yeah. I'm taking RDR by decision. You see, I say that, but I'm not confident about it. But I'm taking RDR by decision. I don't think Caio. Yeah, I don't know. I'm taking RDR. I don't think Caio is there anymore. Or not that he's not necessarily there anymore. I just think with RDR's like unorthodox ass style, I think it'll help him in his favor. Because Caio is just very there. There's not much else to say. He's just there. So, knowing that, I think RDR beats him by decision. Just literally holds him up against the fence and knees him. Physically, I do think Caio's a little bit stronger. But just because of like the height and reach, the reach isn't that much bigger, but you know the height and reach advantage is something to take into consideration. And I will say, the Robert Whittaker fight does look really good in hindsight to some degree. The Brendan Allen one though, this is what makes it kind of really questionable as to why I'm picking him. Cause I want to take him, man. I really do, but this fight just makes me like not want to like take RDR at all. But like the thing is, I think Brendan Allen is a lot better than people make him out to be. And then on the same end, I think Imavov is also just as good. I think Imavov and Brendan Allen would be an amazing fight, even though they already fought. And like if they were to rematch later on, I think there'd be a lot. I think it would be a lot different, in my opinion. But as I say that, I still think I believe in RDR, in my opinion. I just think the fighting style, man. Like the more I think about it, it's just holding him up against the fence, kneeing him. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody really target Caio's body, but he does get really, really weak around there because of his hands. His hands are really high up, and that body is super susceptible to like any like tie clinch or any like. I was not necessarily a tie clinch, but it's like the kickboxing like Dutch clinch. And like any knee to the body is just gonna hurt him, man. Especially with someone as long as like as RDR, man. I don't know. I really don't. I really think he can pull it off. So I'm taking RDR by decision. I could definitely be wrong. I'll be okay with being wrong. But yeah. Last and final fight, main event for the BMF belt. Max Holloway versus Charles the Bronx Olivera II. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like both guys. Okay. So I like going into predictions unbiased. You know, sometimes the bias comes out, especially against Alexander Hernandez. Fuck that guy. I'm just kidding. But yes, my bias does come out sometimes, and I try to be as unbiased as possible. But this fight, it doesn't make sense to me. Because realistically, we're going into this, right? Max Holloway should realistically win, right? Should realistically win. Storyline wise, a favorite. The story, and I guess like the what's the word? Not the story. I guess yeah, the story, the storyline, the plot line. If it works best for him, because then that sets up Max Holloway versus um, Ilya versus Justin, which we all know Ilya is gonna win. That sets up Max Holloway versus Ilya, which would be a grudge match at lightweight, um, for the BMF and the lightweight belt, and that would be perfect. Because then that, like I said, that sets up perfect storyline. Um, but then if you think about it more, it also favors Charles if you're going storyline wise, because Charles, realistically, everybody likes him. I don't think there's anybody out there who realistically hates him. And storyline wise as well, it would work best for him to have some sort of belt. Because if we're being honest, I don't think he's ever going to touch the lightweight belt again. As someone who loves Charles, as someone who's that's like my favorite fighter, I do not think he's touching the lightweight belt again. And it would only make sense for him to have something, because he is good, and I think it's something to show that he is that good for him to have, like, this belt, in some way, shape, or form. But if the more I think about it, the more I'm leaning towards Charles than I am Max. Just because I don't think I've ever seen Max take or have fought anybody who's actually taken him down. Like, if we go, I'm sure there's somebody. I'm sure there's somebody in his career. I do remember him getting a submission win, way back when. Yeah, against Cub Swanson. I do remember that, and Andre Philly. But like, I don't remember him like doing crazy good, like against anybody who can take him down. Like, I don't even think Volk took him down. I think Volk obviously just like peppered at him, cut away. Peppered at him, cut the cage. Peppered at him, cut the cage. I don't even think Brian Ortega did that. I don't think there's anybody who did that. I think the only person I remember off the top of my head, just pure headcanon, was Ilya, who took him down, and then he didn't really take him down, he just stuffed it. But that's Ilya. Ilya is not really known for that. Like, yes, he is a BJJ guy, but he's not known for taking down his opponents unless he like can't knock them out, i.e. Bryce Mitchell. So if we're looking at this, Charles is kind of set up in a good position where he can kind of win this purely off of like, A, his reach advantage is crazy. B, he has powers in those hands, like it's there. C, he has the submission ability. He has the arm reach and the crank to like get something off. Max Holloway is just really good at like keeping distance. He's a boxer. He has to keep distance. Like, that is his specialty, being a boxer, being a striker. He is the best boxer in the UFC to some degree. To some degree. I'm sure there's another one that's not coming to mind. And Charles is just a really good all-round fighter. Obviously, in more specialty on the ground. So, knowing that, I do want to take Charles by submission round 5. Possibly round 4. I think Max is going to win the first few rounds. And I think Charles kind of like slightly wins a few. Like, I think slightly wins 3. And then 4 is the toss-up. And then going into the 5th, knowing that they're both going to be realistically tired, I think he's going to go and submit him. Obviously, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just like, it's just what it seems right in my head, in my opinion. I think it's going to be a submission. Submission round 5. Yeah. Submission round 5. I don't think this goes as planned for most people. Cause like, yes, okay, as you look in the typology, there's 72.2% people taking KO for Max Holloway. I don't see why, in my opinion. If we're being completely honest, like Korean Zombie KO Yeah, we've seen Korean Zombie get KO'd multiple times. Justin Gaethje overhand right, like we already know why he got that KO. Um, yeah. Jose Aldo KO, Brian Ortega KO. That was a doctor stoppage. Like uh, Anthony Pettis KO. Like there's KOs there. I don't think, in my opinion, they go far though. That's a different thing. So I don't know. I think it definitely could go either way. I'm taking Charles though by the submission round 5. Also, another thing I've noticed, and another thing that I saw on Twitter, there's a current trend going on with some of the numbered cards. I think no, actually, all of the main events so far of 2026. If the fighter is a 2-1 favorite or more, they have lost. Brandon Moreno closed at I believe 260, 250. I believe Patty was like 200, if I remember correctly. Volk was like at minus 35 somehow, some way. Minus 135, and he won. Wait, Sean Strickland, Anthony Hernandez was minus 200 something as well. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Moreno Kavanaugh. Moreno was minus 200. I know I just said that one. I just realized. Trying to remember the other ones. I'm blanking. Hold on. I am blanking. Well, I gotta check real quick. I don't want to be wrong about this. It will look bad on me. Yeah, Herna. Oh yeah, Mario Batista, Vinicius, Olivera. Vinicius was like minus 2. No, wait. Wait, no. I remember this one was. I think Mario Batista was like. Oh yeah, minus 125. Yeah. Patty. Yeah. So like the only two fights that have won were very close odds, or closed at very close odds, compared to everybody else who have been like higher than 200. And this is just another situation, literally minus 200 for Max Holloway and plus 100. I think probably the odds have probably widened a little bit. I want to say it probably gotten more in Max Holloway's favor. But let me double check. I do not want to be wrong about that. Yeah, minus 225, minus 230. He opened at minus 190, I will say. So, minus 150 I bet online, actually. But it's only gone lower, so I don't know. It could be. It's up in the air. I think what is the word? All of the, I don't know what the word is. Everything is not against either or. Like each fighter has like everything against each other. Cause like if you think about it, Max Holloway has like the minus 200 curse on him as of right now. Charles, and he also has the BMF belt curse on him. Charles has this going on and off. He only has lost. It's a really good comp, but I will say he also is going back and forth in wins and losses. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I don't know. I'm taking Charles. I'll go down in this boat if that happens. Taking him by submission, round 5. That's all I have for today, though. Thank you for watching. This was MustardKetchupMayo 1000 with the UFC 326 predictions. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.